Magsimula ang taxation when a certain group of people occupied a territory. Now, in order to organize themselves, they need a government. Now, itong government cannot exercise effectively its function kung hindi siya bibigyan ng kapangyarihan. Kaya nagkaroon ng sovereign powers. In several years, in the development of the democratic form of government, they have identified the three sovereign powers essential to the running of the state. First, mayroon silang tinatawag na police power. Yung police power, ang kanyang trabaho ay i-secure yung public welfare. To secure the public welfare, pwede yan magre-resulta ng restraining doon sa freedom mo. So, maraming restraints ito na pwedeng gagawin in order to protect the public welfare. Ang ikalawa naman ay eminent domain. Ang eminent domain, i-exercise lang ito kapag sa tingin ng gobyerno ay kailangan na kunin yung property ng isang private entity para gamitin for public use. So dito, ang gagawin dito is taking of private property. Ito lang yung object na pwedeng apektado or mapektuhan dito sa pag-exercise ng eminent domain. And lastly is we have what we call taxation. Trabaho ng taxation ay maglikom ng pera or to raise money para mayroong pangtustos doon sa mga governmental functions. Kasali na dito yung police power. So may pambayad tayo sa infra, may pampasweldo doon sa mga empleyado, sa mga utilities, mga kuryente na ginagamit para sa pagserbisyo sa mga tao ng gobyerno. Kaya sinasabi dito na ang taxation ay meron silang sinasabi na ito talaga yung basis ng taxation. Nagkaroon dito ng theory about sa basis of taxation na na-develop nila over the years mula sa mga klase-klase mga kaso related to taxation. Number one, sinasabi nila na ang taxation, ang basis dito ay lifeblood doctrine, na hindi mo pwedeng hindi ka magkolekta ng tax kasi according doon sa judgment, tax is the amount that we have to pay for a civilized society. And also, magiging paralisado ang gobyerno kung walang taxes. In other words, magpa-function lang yung government kung mayroong pera na nire-raise galing sa power of taxation. Ikalawa, naging necessary ang taxation dahil sa mga expenditure na ginagawa or ginagawa ng gobyerno para mapagsilbi yung publiko. So, hindi ito maiiwasan. Kailangan talaga mayroong panggasto. At ikatlo, mayroong mga ibang judgment na galing sa mga korte na they're trying to mitigate the burden of the tax in imagining the burden of the tax by way of na sinasabi nila na hindi naman talaga purely burden ng tax kasi mayroon namang tinatawag na sinisilbi yung gobyerno in exchange for the taxes na kinokolekta. Kaya nagkaroon ng theory about the symbiotic relationship, yung benefits received theory. Yung taxpayer, under dito, ay magbibigay ng taxes doon sa gobyerno. Then, ang government has to serve, okay, para doon sa ibinibigay na taxes. Okay. Kung ikaw ay, halimbawa, nakikita mo na wala kang na re-receive na any services coming from the government, ang sinasabi nila, implied yan pag nandito ka sa Pilipinas, na ikaw ay nakakatanggap ng services galing sa Philippine government. Bakit? Dahil mayroon tayong mga batas. Itong mga batas na yan, this will serve as your protection. Okay. Hindi ibig sabihin na yung servisyo lang na pinapakita ng gobyerno, that's in the form of, let's say, mga hospital. Halimbawa, hindi ka na hospital, huwag mo sabihin na hindi ka nakapagtanggap ng servisyo. Kasi yung mga batas na yun, dito yun yung protection na maprotektahan mo for your home, na no one can intervene, penetrate your home or invade your home, or walang pwede mag-take ng property mo without the due process of law dahil mayroong batas na sinasabi. Dahil dito sa basis of theory of taxation, sinasabi nila na they describe the taxation na pwede ito ay supreme. Ganito yung kapangyarihan niya, supreme. In a way na pwede niyang halos gawin ang lahat. Like, example, yung taxation ay pwede rin siya mag-act in effect yung tinatawag na police power. Okay? At sinasabi din nila na ito ay isa din sa strongest power of all the sovereign powers. Okay? Dahil halos lahat saklaw niya. Then also, sinasabi din nila na ang taxation ay unlimited. Kahit anong object or subject in scope. Okay? We have yung person, pwede ikaw ay masubject to tax. Kalawa, pwede yung right mo masubject to tax. At ikatlo, yung property. So, meron tayong property tax. Ito, meron tayong poll tax, yung community tax. Ito, meron tayong excise tax in the form of so many. Like example, income tax, yung right to earn mo, magbabayad ka ng income tax. Yung right to conduct business mo, mayroon kang business taxes. Yung right to transfer mo, for example, magdo-donate ka, mayroon tayong transfer tax. Okay? So, yun, halos lahat ng right mo, mayroon tax yan. Pagdating sa property, we have property tax. Halos lahat kino-cover ng taxation. Kaya pagdating sa kaya't dito, mayroong threat na pwede itong magiging maaabuso yung pag-exercise ng taxation. Kaya dito, kung sa tingin natin is ito, nalalaman natin na yung taxation pala ay ang kanyang source ng power is inherent. Ibig sabihin, nang nag-exist ang gobyerno at saka yung mga tao, may sovereign powers territory, yun ang mga elemento ng pagbuo ng state, nandun din ang taxation. So, kaya inherent siya sa existence ng state. So, therefore, along with its inherent in nature, nagkakaroon din ng inherent limitation. Okay. Hindi ko na i-discuss dito lahat ng mga limitations na yan. Meron na akong isa i-discuss. Una-una dyan is yung tinatawag natin na public purpose. So, ang public purpose, ito yung mag-determine ng validity ng tax. Kung mag-exercise yung state, yung gobyerno ng tax, tinitingnan kung ang tax na ba yan, yung paggagamitan ay for public purpose. Kung hindi, then they will invalidate the tax. Ngayon, yung inherent limitations ay hindi sapat para mapagtugunan yung prevention, yung pang-aabuso ng kapangyarihan ng taxation. Kaya nagkaroon sila ng tinatawag na constitution. Ito yung binuo. Ang trabaho ng constitution ay maglalagay ng limits. So, isa sa mga limitasyon na nilalagay ng Constitution, and again, hindi ko i-discuss dito lahat yung limitasyon, yung isa lang example. Una yung due process. Sinasabi na para magiging valid yung taxation, kailangan in accordance siya doon sa Constitution. Lahat ng kanyang elemento doon sa batas, doon sa pag-exercise ng taxation, kailangan in accordance, not beyond the constitutional limits. Okay? So, dito sa due process, meron tayong substantive na paggagawa ka ng batas ng taxation, it must be in accordance with the Constitution, at saka, kailangan for public purpose. Ikalawa is yung tinatawag natin na procedural. Yung procedural, yun yung mga notice and hearings. Notice and hearings. I will not expound this one in this discussion, in this video. So ngayon, ang isa sa ginawa ng Constitution in order to reduce the threat of the abuse of the exercise of this taxation power was to divide the government into 3 departments. Yung pag-exercise ng power ng taxation, okay? Okay. So dito, meron tayong legislative body. Ang legislative body, dito mangyayari yung exercise of power. So ang tawag dyan ay levy. So dito ma-determine kung ano yung mga subjects, objects, tax rates, at saka ano yung purpose of the taxation, at saka kailan babayaran, at so yung way ng pagbayad, etc. So nandun yun sa levy. Okay? So ang output dito ay batas, law. Pag once nakabuo na sila ng batas, law on taxation, ipapasa yan kay Executive Department. Si Executive Department ngayon, siya yung another na department ng government na tagapagtupad. Ibig sabihin, implementor, or administrator. So, ang kanyang particular agency that is focusing on the implementation of the tax is the BIR. Ito yung agency. Okay. So, dito, makikita natin, kung i-review natin yung phases of taxation natin. I know that you know this phases of taxation. Una, mayroon tayong levying. Ang levying is ito yung stage ng pag-exercise ng taxation. Exercise of power. Ito yung mangyayari doon lang sa legislative department. Ito namang pagkatapos na magkaroon ay ang ikalawa ay assessment. Ang assessment ay ginagawa ng BIR, or ito na yung sa executive. So particularly the BIR. Katapos doon, magkakaroon sila ng collection. Again, sa BIR pa rin yung gumagawa dito. And of course, they have the power to delegate some of those activities of the collection and to the other agencies like banks. Okay, dahil yon sa isa kasi doon sa canons ng sound tax system is kailangan nagkaroon ng tinatawag nila na administrative visibility, na smooth yung pagkokolekta ng tax. Okay, so yun yung isa sa mga requirement or sinasabi na requirement para magkaroon ng sound tax system. But anyway, ito lang yung phases of taxation from levying. Itong levying, ito ay non-delegable. Hindi ito pwedeng ipasa kung sino man. Ito ay legislative only. Pero again, mayroong mga exception na ginagawa yung Constitution. So, balik tayo dito sa taas. So, na nag-implement na si Constitution, so agad-agad, yung apektado dito sa implementation na yan is yung tao. So, the people. So, itong tao na to, kung maging affected siya, kung sa tingin niya mayroon pang abuso doon sa paggawa ng or pag-exercise ng power of taxation, pupunta siya sa court. Ang court is under the judiciary body of the government. Okay. So, si court ang magsisilbing tagapag-mediator ng mga tao at saka ng ibang departamento ng gobyerno. So, siya yung mag-i-invalidate or validate kung tama ba yung tax or yung ginagawa, yung tax law at saka yung ginagawa ng executive department. Okay? So, mayroong mga case dito na idudulong doon. So, ang kanyang batayan doon sa pag-decide is una, yung inherent limitations. Okay? That's in accordance pa yan sa inherent limitation. Then second, mayroon tayong constitutional limitation. Dito siya. So, invalidate niya kung within the Constitution ba or hindi. Then third is mayroon tayong tinatawag na canons of taxation. Canons of sound tax system, sorry. Sa canons ng sound tax system, may una dyan, yung tinatawag natin na theoretical justice. In other words, ability to pay. This is in line with ability to pay theory. Theory. Na hindi ka pwedeng magsingil ng tax kung hindi yan based sa kanyang capacity to pay. Kasi pag yan, magiging oppressive ang dating. Ito yung iniiwasan. Kailangan hindi oppressive. At saka, kailangan hindi arbitrary. So, yun yung theoretical justice. Anyway, when it comes to the taxation, hindi naman yan na papatayin ka na Kailangan yan, mayroon kang kapasidad sa pagbayad. Okay? Para maiwasan yung tinatawag natin na power to destroy. Power to destroy will be discussed on a separate video para maano natin kung ano yung detalyado pagdating dyan. So, dito sa ikalawa naman, may tinatawag natin na administrative feasibility. So, sinasabi dito na kailangan mayroong tama na sistema sa pagkolekta ng tax. Pagdating naman dito sa collection and assessment ito. So, kaya maraming ini-employ dito pagdating dito. Like sa ngayon, mayroon na tayong GCash payment or bank or mga digital payment pagdating sa tax. No need na to go to the bank physically in order to pay taxes. At saka yung filing, digital na rin. So, isa yan sa mga tinatawag, nire-require ng under the canons of sound tax system, the administrative feasibility. Third is yung fiscal adequacy. Fiscal adequacy, sinasabi dito na yung taxes na mga kolekta should be equal to the budget. Okay? Pero, hindi yan mangyayari kadalasan or I'm not sure kung nangyayari ba yan. Basta, yun lang sinasabi nila. So, violating either, kung ma-violate ito or ito, it will not invalidate. So, ito will not invalidate the tax law. Okay? Pag mayroong mga violation dito. Ang pwede lang makapag-invalidate is ito lang. Can invalidate. Kaya, itong theoretical justice, ito din ay isa sa pinagbatayan dito sa desisyon ng court, ng judiciary body. Again ha, theoretical justice. Okay, so yun yung tatlo na pagbatayan ng judiciary body. And also yung mga tinatawag natin ng mga jurisprudence na nangyari or mga batas na nire-refer nila in the past. Yon. Okay, so sa puntong ito, I think maintindihan natin kung ano yung laman, kung bakit ganoon yung definition pagdating sa taxes. So kung babalikan natin, ang taxes ay una-una enforced. These are enforced contribution, right? Hindi ito voluntary. Okay. Hindi ito voluntary ha. Not voluntary. So, kung subject ka talaga ng tax, you need to pay for the tax. Second is proportional. This is in conflict with the Constitution kasi ang sabi ng Constitution kasi, the Constitution mandates progressive type of, to develop a progressive tax system. Pero, ngayon, parang in conflict siya sa proportional na contribution. Kasi ang proportional, that is in the form of indirect taxes. Yung example, yung VAT, at saka yung percentage, at saka yung mga ad valorem na mga taxes, of which yung kanilang computation with taxes in accordance with the tax base amount. So ngayon, hindi yan. Ang progressive tax system kasi is magbabase doon sa income. Based on income earnings. So the higher the rate, the higher the income equals to the higher the rate. So yun yung sa income tax rate ng individual taxpayer. So meron siyang conflict. So ngayon nagkaroon ng decision na yung interpretation pagdating dito is not a mandate actually, but only to encourage. Yun yung lumalabas. Okay? So therefore, both proportional at saka yung progressive tax system is acceptable. Ikalawa, ang ikatatlo, ang primary na talaga ng tax is to raise revenue. Pero mayroon din siyang secondary, yun yung iba, regulatory. We cannot discuss it here thoroughly pagdating dito. May regulatory at saka mayroong yung sumptuary, yung redistribution, mayroong protection of economy, protection of industry. Dito. Example, halimbawa, yung importation, nilalagyan natin ng sangkatutak na tax, katulad ng custom duties, yon, at saka yung excise tax, para magiging mahal siya and our local products can compete the imported products. Ayun yun. So, yun yung kanyang secondary. Pero ang primary talaga is to raise revenue. So, it is always na pag mayroong tax law, the primary purpose of that is always to raise revenue. Incidental na lang yung mga regulatory purpose. And next is yung legislative. It is exercised only with the legislative body. Okay? It's not delegated. Pero, nagkaroon ng exceptions ng provided by the Constitution. Okay. So, pagdating sa exception, sinasabi dito na yung president pwede siya mag-exact ng tariff. Pero mayroong within the range. Yun namang LGU, pwede din sila. Okay? Sinasabi din sa Constitution na pwede silang mag-raise ng tax. Pero, only the legislative body of the LGU can impose that. Can exercise. Okay? At saka yung administrative na portion, admin, yan yung ginagawa ng BIR. Pero hindi naman ito yung exercise of power. This is just for admin. So, that's why delegated siya. Pero again, hindi ito part ng levying dito sa ginagawa ng BIR. Kasi walang doon, exaction. Ang nandun lang is yung tinatawag natin na assessment at saka yung collection of taxes. Okay? Then, yung taxes are collected from its people within its territory. So, ibig sabihin yan, hindi ka lumampas doon sa physical territory mo. Pero mayroon tayong mga exceptions dyan dahil sa protection provided. So, kahit na meron kang mga income sa labas ng bansa, kung resident citizen ka, yun ay saklaw doon sa taxation power. Dahil sa protection that is given by the government over your uh, activities to earn income outside the Philippines. So, dito, din sa territory, okay, nandito yung tinatawag din natin na committee. Isa ito sa mga international committee. Isa ito sa mga inherent powers na may mga exceptions pagdating sa territory na halimbawa, kung ito yung territory mo, Philippines, ito ay inoccupy ng consulate ng foreign government or embassy yan. Ang sabi nila, okay, with the consideration of international committee, this is considered as an extension of the foreign territory. Okay, of the foreign government territory. So, ibig sabihin, this Philippine government cannot allow to impose taxes within this kasi, again, this is considered. So, ganun din yung ginagawa nila sa atin. If we have an embassy in the US, example, that particular territory occupied by the Philippine government is not also taxable under the US government. Okay? So, yun yung reciprocity pagdating dyan. Okay. So, under the International Committee, ang sabi dito, you need to respect. Every government has to respect the other foreign government. Okay? Regardless if it is weak, okay, or small. So, regardless dyan, they have to respect. So, yun yung napagkasunduan internationally among the states. Okay, and lastly is yung public purpose. So, sa public purpose, yon na lahat ng revenue na nire-raise, it's for public purpose. So, hindi ka pwede na mag-raise ng tax kung hindi sa public purpose. If the tax was diverted for private purpose, then that is not allowed. So, there must be a case with that na isa-submit ng people interested party or tayo doon sa korte. Okay? So that's all for this discussion. Hanggang dito lang tayo. So I hope that you get the concept about the taxation, how it began, how it started, and what are the related principles and concepts of this. So thank you so much. So see for the other videos for other related topics like inherent powers and constitutional limitation, like that. Thank you.